hemisphere. Tonight, let's just make one thing clear.
Hey everyone, it's Ivan, KitBadger.com, here today to bring you 6 solid upgrades for your Glock for under $140. Glocks, for all of their reliability, they largely look like a pistol, like your kid would build with Legos. It's a box. And with that, there's a ton of aftermarket with respect to things that kind of really enhance the aesthetics of it. What we're going to talk about today, though, are things to actually enhance the usability of the Glock pistol. This one happens to be a Gen 5 Glock 19. As we get into this, I will say all of these parts are a collaborative effort between Vickers Tactical, Larry Vickers, and Tango Down. I think Vickers has a very pragmatic approach to a lot of these parts, which I appreciate, and with Tango Down, really high quality, solid parts at a really affordable price. First one right here is Enhanced Slide Stop. I like this. It is one of those where, totally personal, it is one of those where, depending on how you're gripping this pistol, you might override it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. I don't override it. This, for me, does a good job kind of walking that line, in that the factory one for me is a little smaller, a little more low profile, which is fine. Sometimes with gloves especially, struggle kind of trying to get it, being able to manipulate it. No problems whatsoever with this one. I find this one much easier to manipulate with gloves, and that for me is important. Living somewhere where it's cold, where I may end up wearing gloves or just training with gloves, yeah, I think that's a really solid upgrade. Next up is the extended magazine release. Compared to the stock one, I definitely feel like it is more pronounced, but at the same time, it's nothing egregious. It doesn't stick way out. It's not all squared off. And it is definitely an enhancement. Makes depressing that magazine release easier, but at the same time, making it to where it isn't something you will accidentally depress when, say, this is in your holster or something along those lines. Making our way back, we have these little wings right here. Slide racker. I'll be honest, when I first saw these, I was like, that's stupid. And there's probably a bunch of people out there with that exact same response. You're like, you know what? I'm so strong, I have such good grip strength. I can charge this thing up here. I don't even need slide serrations. Awesome, good on you. Chances are eventually, if you live long enough, you will get older. When you get older, you will not have the same grip strength or dexterity, or maybe you don't have it to begin with. Maybe you're a small-framed female that doesn't have a lot of grip strength. And this is amazing. The other side of it, maybe your hands are wet. Maybe it was something other than water and you still need to manipulate the slide. You can absolutely just pinch the slide, come over the top, numerous different ways to do it, and this helps, enhances all of those. It creates basically a catch back here to where even if you're using gloves, even if you've lost a bunch of feeling in your fingers because they're really cold, even if you don't have very much strength, as long as you can keep your fingers from coming out around this, it absolutely makes it way easier to rack this slide. It is really simple on its face, but it is actually really functional in application. I have become a fan of this. Initially, I was like, oh man, that's gonna print more, this or that. No, it doesn't. It barely increases the profile. I have never ran into an issue, like if this is what dictates your pistol printing, no, that's not a thing. Next up is this carry trigger. Personally, I am a fan of it. As you can see, it's flat-faced. You have that blade in there, the safety. Mind you, it is a trigger shoe. It is not a disconnector, trigger spring, anything like that. It's not going to change the weight of your trigger pull other than the fact it's changing the geometry. I do really like, though, that since it is flat-faced, when you put your finger in here, depending on how you're pressing the trigger, it's going to give you feedback. Because it's flat rather than rounded in the middle, as you put your finger on and pull, you may end up feeling this edge or maybe this edge. If you are feeling either one of those edges, that means you're not pulling straight to the rear. It's giving you that feedback as you're pressing the trigger. That is huge, because if you are feeling this edge over here and shanking your shots low left like a lot of people do, you get that feedback with this trigger. I think it's really valuable. Next up, we have this guy right here, which is the grip plug / takedown tool, which, wait for it, plugs the grip, and this is a takedown tool. It is basically a little punch. You can use it to push these pins out on your Glock. If you need to take this guy apart, clean it, replace parts, whatever it may be. And in addition to that, it fits in here and is a grip plug, so you don't get Cheetos or whatever in there. And tertiary benefit, you basically have this little shelf right here. So when you're reloading, boom, flat to flat, seat the magazine. I think it definitely adds a little bit of something with respect to kind of manual alarms, being able to seat that flat in there when you're conducting your reloads and drive that guy home. Pretty cool little piece. Lastly, number 6, these tactical floor plates. I did a standalone review on these a while ago. I've been actually using them for years. I think they're a great addition. They come in a pack of 5, so you can outfit a good 5 magazines with them. And what they allow is kind of flared bottom piece here. So if for whatever reason your magazine is stuck, aids in stripping this thing out. Basically that kind of geometry there. In addition to that, on the back you have a number of different dimples, so you can mark these with a paint pen so you know which is which. If you end up having malfunctions or whatever, makes it really easy to isolate, figure out what magazine's causing problems, fix it, replace it, do whatever you need to do. These are just a really good, solid, low-cost upgrade to your Glock magazines. I will say, depending on if you have some crazy competition magwell, something along those lines, these may or may not work with it. They obviously work with any stock Glock mag and stock Glock pistol. As far as aftermarket magwells, not sure on that one. Will all of these work for you and make you a better shooter overnight? Maybe, and probably not. I don't know. It's one of those where, do you like flat face triggers? If you don't, then maybe it won't work for you. Or depending on your grip, are you going to end up overriding the slide stop? I have no idea. I will say I've been using all of these for probably a good solid year as of filming this, to include shooting this in a 2-day Bear Solutions pistol course. They've done great for me. I do view all of them as upgrades to a stock factory Glock. I think they're great. Again, base plates, I've been using these for probably at least 5 years. I really like these. Will they work? I don't know, man. But all 6 for under $140, I think there's a lot of value there. If you pick them up, let me know how they do for you. There's gonna be links down below on my site. Probably not YouTube, because they're weird about stuff like that. But go to my site, kitbadger.com. You'll find links to all this stuff over there. And if you appreciate my content, want to support it, I would greatly appreciate it. Liking and sharing videos, go over to kitbadger.com, pick up KBAT target, pads, stickers, patches, whatever. Maybe access to the Badger Den, shirts through Teespring, Patreon, whatever it may be. I appreciate all of it. And as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.
You were in action, I just can't mind.